Hi everyone, welcome to another new season of Love is Blind USA, and this time we'll be discussing Leo and Hannah and their love quadrangle with Brittany and Nick. First of all, disclaimers, spoiler alert, this video is going to include episodes 1 to 4, and I understand it's an edited show. I am only analyzing the characters portrayed. I also believe that people can grow and change. This analysis is only for our own learning and reflection. Please do not use what I say to bother the cast. This video did take me some time to think about because the editing made Hannah and Leo's problem seem quite obvious, that I wasn't sure if I was able to bring anything new or insightful to the conversation. However, I do think that we can still learn from their dysfunctional patterns and branch it out into how situationships might be formed. Even if Leo and Hannah might be a more caricatured version of what happens in the real dating world. In many ways, Hannah and Leo are a perfect match for each other. They are as immature as one another, have similar insecurities, and also have the same defense mechanisms as each other. If I may take a second to take off my therapist hat, it was a struggle to have to rewatch most of their conversations for video making because I felt like they were kind of talking a whole lot of nothing.
You're clearly really smart.
I know a lot about a lot of things, I think. Prenup and stuff, as long as it's, I don't know much about prenups though, but.
Wanted to know me, not about my job.
To be honest with you, when I heard it, I was like, oh, that's cool, but I don't even know exactly what that even means.
Nothing was deep or substantial, nothing to really get to know each other better.
You know what my biggest fear in life is? I don't want to die.
Yeah?
I'm really scared of death, I think.
It is scary to think about.
I think a lot of people just wish I could live forever. If I could be a vampire, I would get bit any day.
It was kind of like watching two 5-year-olds trying to sound deep.
Even though you're the youngest one here, I think you might be the most mature one I've talked to.
Really?
I really think you are.
Because they think that's how adults speak in relationships.
I mean it, the more I talk to you, the more I'm like, wow. We might be like twin flames.
Yeah.
On the one hand, both Leo and Hannah think quite highly of themselves in a kind of childish, grandiose sort of way.
I'm someone who really prides myself. I've accomplished a lot in life, right? I had my dream job, I made a lot of money.
Really believe that I'm a unique, special person. I was learning Italian art terminology when I was 6. Sprezzatura.
Both also like to low-key brag about themselves, needing other people to know that they are superior.
And I grew up financially very well off.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to build an influencer career. I'm a rich fucking art dealer.
I have multiple connections right now. I was like, I'm telling you right now, they're over there probably they're all probably sitting by their fucking selves. Who's talking to my woman?
But in reality, they're both deeply insecure, thinking that no one would ever love them for who they are.
One of my biggest insecurities is that a girl only wants me for money.
They're never interested in me. I am just hot to them, or I'm just a pretty thing to look at.
And their insecurities are exactly why they use these crutches, looks, and money to draw people in.
Cheerleader in high school, dated the quarterback type of feel, growing up.
I grew up very well off. The business I was really blessed to inherit does pretty well.
However, these crutches are also fueling their biggest fears in relationships. Leo and Hannah both kept a second option, namely Brittany and Nick, even though I think they were actually each other's number one. And they use their options as shields to avoid ever being truly vulnerable with one another. I love you, but I do have another connection.
You feel if I got down on one knee, you'd say yes?
Yeah.
But again, I also have another connection too.
It's like their defense mechanism to avoid being vulnerable actually moves them further away from what they truly want, which is a genuine connection where they can be their vulnerable selves. And ironically, it's like they've met their own match because they were both intimidated by each other's second connection, and so they both missed out on the opportunity to show commitment to one another.
Do you feel that I wasn't committed to you?
Yeah.
Well, I kind of felt the same with you because you were still dating someone else. I never held it against you. Do you feel I was stronger, but because I wasn't committed, that's why? Or do you just genuinely feel a stronger connection with your other match?
Based on personality types, Hannah and Leo are each other's shadow, where they don't share a single function, but their complementary functions are at the same levels as each other. And theoretically, shadows have both high compatibility and chemistry. However, because Leo and Hannah are both insecure, immature, and manipulative, it's almost like they've met their own match and they're serving each other their own medicine, hence ultimately not working. From what was shown, Leo's main problem is his indecisiveness, and he's indecisive because he has no criteria of his own.
Describe to me the kind of girl you want by your side for the rest of your life.
That's like what I'm really trying to fucking figure out.
Instead, he relies on other people's feelings, values, and opinions.
Now, okay, this is a way to look at it. What would Hannah ultimately want? Like, I mean, she's young. She may not know what she wants. Maybe all of us don't. I don't know what I want. That's actually been one of my issues.
His choice is dependent on the responses of both Hannah and Brittany.
If I tell you that, and let's say even you say it back, and then if I told the other person that, and they said it back.
And he also depends on the opinions of the other guys regarding how to choose a partner.
Brittany is really like my ex, a wonderful fucking girl.
What you did in the past didn't work.
Yeah.
We can all go home and find someone like our ex.
He constantly encouraged the woman to pour their emotions to him, to share their feelings and thoughts first before he does.
But like for me personally, like I'm pretty sure of you.
So then he can make his decision based on their level of commitment, which woman fights harder for him.
That was so well said. You've let me know that I'm your strongest connection. You've put in so much more than I have.
So then when both Hannah and Brittany were expressing equal amounts of commitment, he was completely stuck.
Do you think you even want to do that to either of us?
Yes, absolutely. I'm literally ready to... I'm really there with like both.
Leo's decision-making was completely reliant on the external. External meaning other people, i.e. Hannah, Brittany, and the boys, as well as the circumstances of the experiment, i.e. the timeline set by production, which corners him to make a choice within a certain deadline.
Like, the schedule's gonna decide your fucking husband for life?
Leo is basically purely reactive. No decision was generated intrinsically. His passionate, aggressive plea towards Hannah at the end was largely triggered by Brittany's threat to bail out because she was so sick of his indecision.
And we get married, that this is something that you'll always like feel self-conscious about? That I was this torn? That wouldn't be a good foundation for a marriage.
And in the end, he chooses Brittany because Hannah dropped him. It's a reaction to Hannah's choice, not his own choice.
The fact is, we're not compatible. Nick is better for you.
And I know that. He's my person, you know?
That's exactly how I feel about Brittany.
Based on personality types, a way to explain Leo's indecision and reliance on the external is his dominant function FE, extroverted feeling. FE types are responders to emotions and values. They survey how others feel and what other people value, and then assimilate this into their own judgment and decision making. FE wants to know how others feel in order to be more confident and certain in how they themselves feel. And as I always say, none of the functions are inherently good or bad. It depends on the circumstance and how the individual chooses to use them. With Leo, I feel like he's a very top-heavy or immature FE with his complete reliance on other people's feelings and opinion. His decision is solely in response to them and nothing is internally generated. And I think for an important decision like marriage, Leo should balance his FE with his TI introverted thinking. TI thinks in terms of objectives and function. TI is what makes sense to me, what works for me, and in this case, how would I define a good working relationship and a good partner? And Leo simply has not bothered to consider this, or that his current criteria is too simple, generic, nowhere near specific enough, and therefore useless at helping him make a choice. Another function that might explain his slow decision making is SI, introverted sensing. SI is a post-processing function. It takes time to process an experience after it's happened. Things are often clearer after the fact. SI also relies on their own subjective experience and account of a person or a situation to make confident judgments. Therefore, SI hero, the top function, needs to maximize their time and experience with a new person in order to feel like they've experienced and observed enough to make a confident choice.
I felt like betrayed, and I felt like we were both going to be taking as much time as possible to make this like informed decision.
So, of course, I must discuss Leo's big manipulative speech when Hannah chooses to dump him for Nick a day before production's deadline.
And I think this the other guy I'm seeing, like, I just think, like I love that man. I want someone that's, like, 100% sure about me, you know?
Have you and him decided this?
Yeah.
Fuck, Hannah.
Even in this moment, Leo was still coaxing Hannah to express commitment to him first, to put her cards on the table first, before he decides what he would commit to.
Do you feel like I was stronger, but because I wasn't committed, that's why? Or do you just genuinely feel a stronger connection with your other match? Because I can't fight for something if you've already made up your mind.
Well, you haven't made up your mind, I don't think, Leo.
And Leo's words may seem like he's all in on Hannah, but he's actually not said that he would let go of Brittany.
My other connection is there, and I have really strong feelings for her, and I have really strong feelings for you. Hannah, I'm so fucking into you. Like God, like how conclusively have you decided?
He's dragging Hannah back in with big declarations, I coulda, woulda, shoulda, but everything is hypothetical. He's not making any real commitment until Hannah sticks her neck out first.
You had the same exact feelings for me and the same connection you do with somebody else. Like, that's not someone I want.
Hannah, like, I want you. Like, I had no idea you were having all these feelings. I would have been here telling you how I want you, telling you how I want to marry you, telling you how I love you, like.
And what I find most obnoxious about Leo is that despite him being so indecisive and clueless about what he wants, he still demands to be the sole decision maker and expects the women to wait on him. No one is allowed to leave.
I felt like shame. I felt like I was like just getting like put in a corner and I couldn't move.
And when a decision is taken out of his hands, i.e. Hannah decides to walk away, he gets angry, aggressive, and he shames her.
Does part of you feel you couldn't handle this uncertainty for another day? Then maybe I'm not special enough to be willing to handle that for. And if that's the case, I'm not the one for you. You are special enough to me.
Leo gaslights Hannah, accusing her of being the one who's not committed, that she doesn't love him enough to endure another day of uncertainty, another day of his two-timing. He belittles her connection with Nick, saying Nick is only certain of her because he has no other option.
As I understand it, he's got one connection, and it's you.
He also shames Hannah's values, her way of choosing who she wants to marry.
Is he the best person for you, or is he just the first person to tell you I love you? Because if he's just the first, and that's how you're gonna get married?
Leo is also really good at flipping values around, portraying his indecision and two-timing as some moral high ground, a reflection of how seriously he's taking marriage and his decision.
I'm fighting to know who's truly the right person. Like, Hannah, this is a marriage for life. My parents are divorced. I know how shitty divorce is, and I know what life means. Marrying someone, I do not take that shit lightly.
Then he persuades Hannah that having Brittany as an option to him actually speaks volumes for his love for Hannah, because he's choosing to continue with Hannah despite having Brittany.
And I have another connection I can go to. You understand? It's not even like I'm fighting for you because you're my only one. I have another, and I'm still fucking here, Hannah.
Versus Nick, who's not two-timing, who's focusing on one woman. Therefore, that love is not as deep. And despite Leo himself never actually committing to Hannah, never saying that he would drop Brittany, Leo then had the nerve to test Hannah's love for him.
Are you willing to try and fight for this? I need someone that's willing to fight for love.
Blaming her for the failure of their relationship.
If I was to say to you, Hannah, I want to marry you. I want to get down on one knee. I want to spend my life with you, and I love you. And would you agree that we're the ones that are meant to be together?
I don't like this.
No matter what you've said, no matter how hard it is, would you say yes to that?
And then after going ballistic and thus losing Hannah completely, Leo then has the audacity to ask Hannah to wingman him to help him win Brittany back, incompetently gaslighting Hannah, saying that their breakup was mutual and Brittany was his first choice all along.
Like, I'm scared that she's gonna think that I'm choosing her because, like, she's my second option. Hannah, we both broke up with each other, but, like, I just hope, like, I don't know, if you just, like, let her know, like, how fucking much, like, I'm sitting here talking to you and all I can think about is just wanting to get down on one knee for Brittany. Like, it's literally all I want to do. Like, I literally...
Then why did you do that last night?
Hi, quick break to say that if you wanted us to analyze your personality type and make sense of your relationships, communication, and decision making, then please find booking details in the description box below. If you're not new to Love is Blind and my channel, you may recall me discussing another gentleman in season 6 who also was very slippery with their promises and used hypotheticals to lure women in.
If I had to make a decision right now, if I had to make a decision today, I would choose you. I'm making decisions tomorrow, okay?
And I attributed this ability to the function NE extraverted intuition, video link above. Where Leo tops Matthew is how he is capable of convincingly shaming a person's feelings and values by twisting the definitions of love and commitment. For example, he says, Nick's commitment to one person, Hannah, is not the deepest form of love. Nick's choice is not valuable because a choice of one is not a choice, which isn't true because Nick could also choose to remain single. Rather, Leo's connection with Hannah whilst being with Brittany is apparently a deeper love because Leo's choosing to date Hannah despite having options, which increases the value of his choice. He's basically made the committed sound uncommitted and the uncommitted sound committed. NE extroverted intuition has the ability to generate multiple and equally plausible possibilities to explain the same thing. NE is also very comfortable with paradoxes. It can hold seemingly contradicting ideas at the same time, which means an ability to flip the meaning behind anything. Again, I stress that a function in itself is not good or bad. It's a cognitive process that might explain behaviors. Whether this function is used for good or bad intent depends on the individual and their character. Leo has the same functions as Matthew, but in a different order. Versus Matthew, Leo is feeling dominant, which makes him more adept at understanding feelings and values and good at manipulating their definitions and using it on people if he chooses so. Matthew does not shame someone's values in order to influence them. He just confuses them with hypothetical what-if situations. Leo's manipulation with NE surfaced when he was running out of time and options, in other words, when he was at his most stressed. And our inferior function requires the most energy out of us, and when we use it under stressful situations, it can come out very explosive. Overall, Leo's manipulation and behavior got me thinking how many situationships are formed. One big reason is the choice paralysis of dating app culture, and another reason is demonstrated here that some people would actually fight passionately for you just so you can be an option to them.
I have another and I'm still fucking here, Hannah.
Not the one, but an option. And this is very confusing because they're so passionate, you think they must be committed to you because it's ludicrous to fight this hard just to keep an option open. So then you stay and a situationship is born. So next time when you're met with a passionate plea by a previously uncommitted person, ask yourself these questions. 1. Are they offering you commitment now? Are they stepping forward towards you, or is the focus on you not stepping out? 2. Are they expressing how they feel about you as is without conditions? Or are they using what-if scenarios to tempt you to express to them first? And 3, are they giving you freedom to choose? Do you feel safe to express your feelings and doubts, or do you feel punished and shamed? And Nick is actually a good example of how someone who is emotionally mature and truly loves you would respect your choices and autonomy.
I guess you didn't think I was the right guy for you, so I really don't have too much else to say. So I hope the rest of your dates go well, and I hope you find the right person for you, because you're beautiful on the inside now. So I wish you the best of luck.
Lastly, Leo mentioned what his and Hannah's personality type was.
Because we're both kind of reserved, we're both ENTJs.
Most personality type results are based on self-testing. Self-testing can only be accurate if there's a high level of objectivity and self-awareness, which requires us to be vulnerable.
I don't think I have like a lot of insecurities like internally.
It's obvious that Leo and Hannah lack self-awareness and are unwilling to be vulnerable to the truth. It's more accurate to have someone objectively assess your thinking and behavior to analyze your personality type. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful and interesting. If so, please like, subscribe, and share to support my channel. I've developed my own methods of interpreting personality types, and if you would like us to analyze your personality type and make sense of your relationships, communication, and decision making, then please find booking details in the description box below.